Today, I'm going to be showing you how to catch homicide bypass inside of FiveM using something called PowerShell profiles. PowerShell profiles are startup scripts for PowerShell, which means whenever you launch a PowerShell environment, PowerShell ISC, normal PowerShell, or inside of CMD doing PowerShell.exe, these scripts load and it doesn't log anywhere known. Check the video I made on fileless bypasses in the top right card, which explains how to find artifacts and how to find fileless bypasses, which this now actually bypasses. So now I'm going to show you how it works. Inside of any PowerShell environment, you want to run this command to know where the PowerShell profile file directory is. Then you want to place a file inside this directory and place your script inside of this file. So if I go to my documents directory, I need to make a file path with the name Windows PowerShell. So I'm just going to go right click in new folder. And then inside of this folder, I need to create a file named Microsoft PowerShell profile.ps1. So I'm just going to go here and go new text file. Then I'm going to rename it to Microsoft PowerShell profile.ps1. Then I'm going to go ahead and edit this one in Notepad. And then here you're going to be able to place your malicious script. So in this case, I'm going to add a fileless command to open the auto clicker. This is what's used inside of Homicide to launch their loader. And then I'm just going to close out of this one. And then I'm going to go ahead back to the PowerShell environment. Now, just something that we need to set is the set execution policy. So then we need to type in this command, click this, and then we need to click A, which is yes to all, and then enter again. Now we need to close down PowerShell. Then when we reopen a PowerShell environment, make sure it's also run as administrator. It's going to inject the direct bytes into PowerShell and then launch my auto clicker here. And as you can see, this is also what Homicide use. Now let's go into some detections on how we're actually going to go ahead and detect this bypass. So firstly, Detect.ac PC scanner, which is the first link in the description, does catch this. And to my knowledge, not any other scanners have detected this just yet. And usually Detect.ac update first, and just look how frequently they update 18th, 16th, 11th. And here comes the PowerShell profile bypass detections here and here. And then there's some previously as well. So they're always trying to improve on this bypass and actually detected homicide through this method. So you guys can purchase this with the first link in the description. It's a really quick 1 minute to 2 minute scan on the user's computer, and then it will output the logs and tell you if the user has been using this bypass alongside multiple other things. Let's go on to the manual methods on how we can go ahead and detect this. So the first thing we can do is just paste in the select object $profile, and then it's going to give us the file path. So then we can go ahead and open up this one inside of a txt. So go to the directory, and then we're going to look for invoke commands. So go here, open it up as text document, and then we're going to be looking for invoke commands. So this invoke web request to this, we can see that this is clearly an auto clicker named Sapphire Light, and then we'd be able to ban for the user having this set. And then we'd also need proof of PowerShell being launched using prefetch or another Windows artifact. So now I've just renamed the profile to just the number 2.ps1. So if you were going to go ahead and do this method, you would try to find this file and then it wouldn't be there, as it is just the number 2 now. So what we would do now is we'd use journal trace. So just going to select my C drive and scan this for any journal entries. And then we're going to go ahead and go to the data grid. And then we're going to put in there the name of the profile, just the PS1 file. Pop it in here, click search, and then we're going to take a look. Rename new name or rename old name is what we're going to be looking at. So if you take a look here, rename old name. So we know that this has now been renamed because the old name is Microsoft PowerShell profile.ps1. So now we're going to be looking at rename new names at the direct exact time. So 22/26/56. Then it's going to tell us the new name. So if we then go to 2.ps1, then it's going to tell us the new rename new name, and it's going to be at 22/26/56 directly afterwards. Now the next bypass they can use is something called a data truncation using the type command, or they could just open up the command inside of a notepad and edit the command and change it. Either one flags the same inside of USN journal, but in this case I've got a random txt called test.txt inside of my downloads. So if we go ahead and enter this, this is now going to type over the PowerShell profile. So now if we go ahead and try and open this one and right click edit it in notepad, it's just going to show us this is a legit command. Also, the user can just right click and edit in notepad and then change it to whatever they want, control S, remove it, and then when you go ahead and edit it, it's not going to show as having any invoke command. Then that would bypass the first check that we had for it. Also, this is going to check in USN journal. So if we go drive select and just rescan my system. Then if we look for 2.ps1, it's going to come up with a data truncation as the most recent thing, or a data overwrite. Any of these also would be bannable on the PowerShell profile. And then the last thing they can do is just completely move the file to a different place, or they can go ahead and move the whole folder to a different place, just like so. And then you can find this by going into FTK Imager. You can load every single drive by clicking this button here, and then navigating to the documents folder, and then you'll be able to see the $I30 index entry, which is used for folders. So it's slightly different. You would have file slack if this folder was still here, and you'll be able to see the file slack for the PowerShell command. But if the whole folder has been moved, then you're looking for the $I30 index entry, which comes up whether you've moved it or whether you've deleted the folder altogether. And then you'll be able to see this on the system as well. And you know this is recent because it's going to be overwritten fairly quickly, like all $I30 index entries are. So you can also confidently say this has been in the past couple of days. And that is everything we know about Homicide's bypass. This has now been fully detected using their PowerShell profile method inside of my screen share tool Detect, as you guys already had seen. And they're all the manual methods on how you guys can find this. Thank you very much. Get the screen share tool down below. Have a great day. In a bit.